All right, welcome. We're going to be doing a story embroidery class, which is essentially we're going to be making up a story as a group. And prior to starting the video, we have done a couple things. We chose our genre randomly, which turned out to be fantasy. We have done two things in the Dramatica software. First one we did is we randomly chose 8 archetypal characters, had the software name them, do all that, and I'll write this. Actually, Jim, can I have you put the characters up? Just their names by the right ones, and then put the indicator of the main character and influence character. Oh, here, use this. Oh, use that, and then use the red for the MC and the IC. So just put the person's name by the item. Then the other thing we did, it was to randomly select a story form, and with that, all of the gists. So we have a task is to go through in a round-robin fashion and define and create illustrations for whichever one, whichever story point somebody wants to be to illustrate. So we have our main character, who is Dramatica, and our influence character is the antagonist. Oh, interesting. Oh, well, just leave it fine. Antagonist is the influence character, so Philip Ledford.
Why is it interesting?
Well, it's interesting that it chose those because that's sort of the typical thing people do. The main character also being the protagonist, meaning the personal story is also exploring the guy who's sort of leading the charge toward the goal, or the woman who's in charge of the goal. In this case, I think, yeah, Dora. And if you could put just male or female MRF next to it, might be helpful. Although I think most of the names are pretty obvious. So having an antagonist as the influence character, not as typical except in certain genres like horror, where most everybody else is dead at the end, so you still have to have that influence character. So it's a common practice to have that combination, but you don't need to have the main character be the protagonist. That could be the main character can be a sidekick or any of the characters. We're dealing with archetypes because it's a lot easier in such a short period of time to develop a story. Usually in a real story, you make complex characters that are not as simple. And so the idea is that we'll go round robin. Anybody can opt out. So if you want, just say skip, not a problem. The other thing is, I want to remind everybody that we're recording this, obviously. And if you come up with a really good idea, don't share it. Come up with a less good idea and share that one, because if you want to use it for your own writing, well, anything that comes up here is pretty much fair game. It's out in the open. So just keep that in mind. Although you'll find that the more you practice this kind of process, coming up with the ideas actually gets a lot easier. Coming up with a good story is not always the same thing, but because the story is far more involved than a single idea. Anyway, any questions before we go on? Yeah, good. So we have 3 different reports. So let me explain. The other thing we did before we started this was to print out 3 different reports. The first one was the characters. So it's the character list with their name, gender, what character type they might be. In this case, we wanted all archetypes, so they would either be protagonist, antagonist, emotion, reason, sidekick, skeptic, guardian, or contagonist. And then I printed out a report, an overview report, which has all the story form choices with the gists. And gists are phrases that are substituted for the structural items. So in Dramatica, there are these really generic terms like obtaining or pursuit or avoidance. Those are great for giving you sort of the broadest possible, freedom to illustrate. but they're also so generic, it's not necessarily very inspiring. So what we've done here is that we have had the software pull from its library of gists these phrases that are instances of those terms, but used sort of in context. For example, the big picture problem is avoidance, and in this instance it says eluding someone. So it's a much more specific aspect of avoidance as being the thing that causes trouble for everybody in the story. So the second report has all of those story points. The third one is the story engine settings, which is essentially these same things, but the bare information, the raw information without any gists. And it has a list of short definitions for each of the items that are in that story form. All the pages are two-sided, except for the last page of the definitions, because there weren't only a few pages, so the last side is blank. Any other questions?
Oh, is there anybody online?
I
Participating?
don't think so.
Okay.
I think we're late or whatever, so it's just us.
Okay.
So our characters are, our protagonist is Dory Monty, female. Our antagonist is Philip Ludford, male. Our motion character, Thelma Kinney, female. Reason is Ralph Friday, male. Sidekick, Steve Ellingson, male. Skeptic is Marcia McAllister, female. Guardian is Marvin McLean, male. And the protagonist is Christina Cassio, female. Now, the way I want to proceed, probably the simplest thing to do is to go in and describe, pick a character and give their age and their occupation. So that'll, again, help us with starting to flesh this out if we have some characters to populate the overall story, because then we can start using them in our descriptions. And so I will start with Bob. If you want to illustrate, give an occupation or an age to any one of these particular characters.
Clothing designer.
For whom?
For the main character.
Okay, and how old is she?
39.
All right. All right. And I'm sorry, what is your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. I'm Chris.
But listen.
So any of the characters you can pick, and you can be off the wall. This is a time to actually have sort of a lot of fun. We're not trying to do a. Doesn't have to be G-rated. Do whatever we want.
Steve Ellingson, the sidekick, 38. Priest.
All right. All right.
Gay.
Ralph Friday.
What did you say?
That he's gay. You can say he's gay.
Sure, the gay priest.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Ralph Friday sounds like a secret agent to me. So he's a spy or.
Well, which is it?
Okay, secret agent. Okay.
There's no right answer. So.
What's his cover job?
Is there a time period? We haven't established that yet. But let's. How old is he?
No, let's make him 45.
Delma. So she is 1, and she's a circus performer.
Any particular type or just?
Trapeze. You mentioned Chris Huntley, who's like his PCP.
Oh.
So the
So that'd be the
Yeah.
protagonist.
for Christina, the protagonist, 8-year-old Pete.
Okay.
I'll go with Marsha McAllister. She'll be a 30-year-old archaeologist.
Marvin McLean is 212 years old.
Very good.
Fantasy.
And he is a kindergarten teacher. He's a animal wrangler.
You have those last.
Animal
Perfect.
So it'll be
So we
a
have one more.
reindeer
Wait.
trainer.
We have the antagonist.
All right, Philip Ledford, the antagonist. He is he's 27, and he is a chef. He's a chef.
You keep forgetting you're being recorded. All right. So, yes. So, Jim, you may be seated again and swing this over this way. So now it gets to the tougher part. Now we are going to the. I'm going to skip you on this one. So we're going to start with Sandy and go around, and then I'll let you get back to Bob toward the end. So the idea is to pick any one of these items on either side, or look at, if you want to see it on one page, you can look at the story engine settings. But that's the probably the most meaningless thing would be for you, because a lot of these terms you wouldn't even necessarily understand. Although I did have the short definitions there. So the idea is that using that gist and being aware of the context of that gist, come up with an example or an illustration for this fantasy film with this particular set of characters. So,
Well, okay, Dora, our main character, is in the domain of reading minds. So she is a telepath.
so wait, so what story point are you talking
The
about?
main character domain.
Okay.
Dora. Dora is
Well, she reads minds. That's the reading minds is the gist.
right. She's a telepath, and people want to manipulate her for her ability,
Okay.
for her telepathic ability.
So now, how is that personal? This isn't the main character through line, so not in the big picture, but how is this her personal issue?
Well, she doesn't. She wishes she was not telepathic. She can read people's minds, but she has a really hard time, having this ability when she doesn't really want it, and so she's constantly trying to sort of play with her mind to shut out other people's thoughts, and trying to manipulate situations so that she doesn't get other people's voices in her head.
Okay. So, she's
She's an accidental telepath.
right. Who's okay? I'm sorry. I was trying to find the story form. I was trying to find out exactly this is manipulation domain or psychology domain. So this is. Can you please repeat that?
She's a telepath who doesn't want to. She's an unintentional telepath who tries very hard to keep other people's thoughts out of her head by manipulating herself and manipulating situations.
So when she tries not to read minds, and how does that create conflict for her? By trying not to?
Correct. By trying not to create socially awkward situations, it creates,
If she doesn't read mind, how does that create social awkward?
well, her trying not to read minds, her trying to,
Right.
to,
So her reading minds create socially awkward problems.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You're already addressing a solution to a problem. We're not even.
okay.
We're looking for what's the root cause, and how that relates to the bigger picture. So her reading minds gets her into trouble because makes her feel really awkward because she hears things that she shouldn't be hearing.
And right, and she's not normal. She can't relate to the world like a normal person.
Okay, that's nice. I like that. Not really the world is a normal person. All right. Next. Oh, take it easy. Remember, we also have the dynamics, and the success. There's outcome of success or judgment of bad. I mean, there's all sorts of ones that are sort of low hanging fruit.
Well, we want the marriage.
So we have her domain is reading minds, concern is becoming a political leader, the issue of committing oneself to one's religion. Oh, is this about today's politics? Oh, her problem is avoiding marriage to someone.
Okay, so the root of her issue, personal issues, it's rooted in the fact that she's trying to avoid marriage with, so she's 39, it's with Steve Ellingson. Oh no, he's gay. Okay. That one.
But it's a good reason.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
But what would you
And is a
pursue
priest.
her? Yeah.
Those are two good reasons.
Yeah.
It's fantasy.
It's a source of conflict, you know.
Doesn't say he's a Catholic priest.
But she could be
Are
gay.
there other priests?
Yeah. Okay.
In this world.
In fantasy
Okay,
world,
in fantasy
sure.
world.
Do we know
Okay.
the time period yet?
Huh?
You don't know the time period yet?
No.
Should we know that?
If you want to establish that as your storytelling point, sure.
Okay, so well, okay, because I'm looking at the age range. So let's say that. Let's say that. Okay, well, let's spice it up. So she's gay. So Dora, and so her problems with the fact that she's trying to avoid marriage with a man.
I mean, look at it as more generic, but then use the
Okay, with the Ralph Friday.
Ralph Friday, who's the secret agent.
Just the reason term.
Okay, so she's trying to, the main character problem, trying to, in this case I'd say prevent her marriage to, what's his name? Ralph. Secret agent. Because is it because she's gay or is it because she's in love with someone else?
No. I would rather go because she's married to someone else that could get she's trying to pick up another.
Okay.
Someone age appropriate.
She is in love with someone else. All right. Jim.
So, is she aware of this? She's the change character, isn't she? Usually not aware of this. So how does that play out?
Let's get a little more of the story.
Okay.
I mean, I could think of a gazillion ways it could play out.
Okay.
Because remember, this is the thing that motivates her,
Mm-hmm.
and she might not be aware of what she's doing, but that's the thing that actually gets her riled up. I mean, you can think of what kind of, who's causing the marriage. So is it arranged marriage? Is it pregnant? I mean, there are all sorts of things that could be sort of shoehorning her into that.
Mm-hmm.
And that ultimately is the reason it comes out that she realizes I'm in love with someone else. That's why I'm trying to prevent getting married to get that. But that's, as a problem, it's not the thing that she sees. She's going to think it's something else. Well, yeah.
No, I know, but usually you don't. It just sounded like she knew about it. And usually that's a problem.
We know about it because we're the authors. We are gods, and we understand how this works. Weaving it together and withholding information and withholding, but but they're aware of and not. Other people might be aware of it.
So I want Middle Ages. I want Tolkien.
Tolkien?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is kind of
Is everybody familiar with that?
everybody seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, Middle
Yeah.
Earth. Not
It
Middle
doesn't
Ages.
have to be Middle Earth, but it's like
You're saying it's dragons and orcs and trolls.
Yeah. it's a fantasy.
Including a gay priest and an archaeologist in this body.
Yeah, well,
Trapeze
somebody
artists.
studies of Tolkien.
You know,
Sure,
You know, you know,
just put them all in,
different kingdoms have their secret agents. So Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Just
Or
add-
Game of Thrones if you
just
want to be
add
more
like-
cutting edge.
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Just add comedy after fantasy and get it all.
So you want basically a sword and sorcery type world. Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it has to be a sword and sorcery
No.
story.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
she-
have to
she-
have magic. It's just in that sort of an era where it's pre, industrial revolution for sure. It's back
Yeah.
swords and whatever. Okay.
I wish I knew that.
You can modify, but don't. The thing is, the important thing, the way to make this work is don't go back and revise. Move forward, because what you'll find is that the more you fill in, either certain things you'll just need to tweak to make storytelling work, or it'll work despite that, and you get a story by filling them all in, not by working and reworking any particular point, because there's nothing you can put in there, as long as it sort of fits the definition, is going to be wrong, because it doesn't have any larger context. Only when you start to fill in the larger context will it start to be, oh, this works, or I need to tweak it. So I recommend never going back, and especially in this kind of a process, just moving forward, plowing ahead, and and get as many things done as we can, and then we'll see what we have, and the things. Yeah, eventually it will work. Okay, so we want to sort of Middle Earth type time and location. Time. Hope we can worry about location. All right.
That's all I need.
Huh?
That's all I need.
If you would like to do a story point, that's fine.
Can I do it? Yeah.
What
So I
part
wanna
of
do
yes didn't
Judgment
you
Bad.
understand?
I want to do Judgment Bad.
Oh, what a surprise. Okay.
Everybody else takes it.
This is the overall story.
Friends shall be miserable at the end or unresolved. Yeah.
There's no storytelling?
No. I want it to be that she's completely surrounded by potential suitors, and it's driving her mad because she can't get their thoughts out of her head.
Okay. Dora.
And basically, she ends up just kind of feeling bad about, just kind of feeling bad about, the state of the world and the state of, humanity. Because it's like she could read all these thoughts and they're all like negative.
Yeah, if she could escape to some mountaintop, she'd be happy. Something.
But then she'd run into that chick from Frozen, and then it's, singing will happen. Yeah,
I heard it for too many months.
that's why it's a judgment.
Okay, so what I'm writing is that she is angst-ridden because she still hears the negative thoughts of potential suitors, or something like that. Right? Yes. I'm sorry, I don't recall your name. Sean. Sorry, Sean. I'm terrible with names, though. It's not you.
So basically, I'm going to pick something and then illustrate it.
Correct. Any of the points that have not been illustrated.
Throughout the whole, through any
You got a lot here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Got lots of blanks.
Oh,
Or if you want to skip, you can do that too. I mean, it's up to you.
well, how about we go with relationship through a through line domain having a conflict. We'll address that.
Okay.
So who's this other person?
So this would be the antagonist, Philip Bloodford.
The relationship. Okay. So she.
No, it's not she. It's the what kind of relationship is it? Yeah. So what kind of relationship is it?
What's antagonist?
Well, no. But what type of relationship? What is their relationship? Well, it's. I mean, if someone's, you've got having a crush, so you've got
Okay,
a
well, what are they?
clothing designer and a chef.
She make it win. So
Yeah.
That's forbidden love.
so everybody's included.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, forbidden love. Yes, right.
Okay. Okay. So it's a romantic relationship.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's all. We're just going for simple here. Now, having a crush as being the domain. So the area is the idea of having a crush generally means it's not reciprocated. Somewhat, it's usually one-sided
Right.
romance.
Right.
So in that instance, between Dora and Philip, who has a crush on whom?
Well, let's go with Philip has a crush on Dora.
Okay. Which of course also works nicely because she can read his mind.
And she doesn't like that.
And she doesn't like him and doesn't want it, and yet he's the one who's all enamored. But I think that works nicely.
Or she does like him, and that's and her it creates a problem that she can read his thoughts, and that's like okay, yeah.
No, we scrap it.
We scrapped that.
Alright.
That sort of came and then went once that was sort of clarified a little bit. I know. Yeah,
It was just in my mind.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't just in your mind. It came out of your mouth too. So we have Philip has a crush on Dora.
You don't do it out. Unless somebody
Now, do you want it to be that Dora doesn't reciprocate it, or she's just it's not mutually? She's not this.
She doesn't know, or she doesn't
Well,
want it.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Well, of course she knows. She doesn't want it.
So that's fine. Okay, that's good because then you have conflict,
Right.
and it's also consistent with a problem.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you, John.
Good.
John.
All right. We're going to jump over to the influence character's concern
Okay.
of snatching someone.
Now let me do one little bit of defining. So we're talking about these items here: domain, concern, and problem are things that we've talked about so far. The domain is the broadest area in which this thread of the story, this through line, in which the problem exists. So the context is that through line. So in the influence character, that's the person who challenges the main character's point of view. In a romantic comedy, it's frequently either the best friend or it's going to be the partner, the love interest. It's not always the love interest. Sometimes they're just the object of desire. But so Sleepless in Seattle, with Harry Met Sally, it's you've got the main character and then the love interest is the influence character. The concern is if you say, here's the broad area in which that problem exists. Now, if we narrow it down, what are they concerned about within that? And then if you narrow it down further, all the way down to a problem, what's the source of conflict there? So those are the ones that we've been dealing with so far. So you were talking about the concern and the influence character through a line, which
Snapper is concerned with kidnapping any and all potential suitors.
so Philip is okay. So Philip, right? You said he's the influence character, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're an influence character, so it's good to use the character's
Philip,
name.
sorry, Philip.
I mean, just because we don't remember it, I don't remember it. He's got all that. Is concerned with matching
We were kidnapping any and all potential suitors.
in all
Students.
Okay, good.
I'm going to go with the relationship concern, being phobic, and
Being phobic.
and I'm going to say the problem is that she doesn't like Dora does not like that Philip is a boy.
She's orthophobic.
She's phobic of his race.
Okay.
He's an orc chef.
They're really good.
Yeah. Despite the fact that they're vegetarian.
They don't
Maggie.
Yours be Maggie. Okay. Bob, did you have any that you'd like to illustrate? Okay. Did you want to try one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. That's okay. We'll guide you, so
Yeah,
it's not a problem.
The overall story.
That's sort of the big picture, which most people.
So, dog. So maybe is that really what that is? Becoming a dog, like to become a dog?
Yeah, that would be exactly like becoming a dog. Yes, that would be the dividend. Now, what the dividend is that on whatever the goal is, on the way to achieving the goal, you'll get some perks, and then there will be some negatives. The pluses and negatives. On the plus, someone or something becomes a dog, and that's seen as a plus.
Oh, okay.
So it can really be interpreted however you want to put it.
Okay, so
And it's in the
It also doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a dog.
well, yeah, it does because that's what this says. Remember, we're trying to honor the gist. We're not trying to just use them as suggestions.
But it could be a wolf. It could be a cat. It could be any kind of canine.
Or it could be a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
So Dora has all these guys pursuing her, and the one that she ends up choosing, unfortunately, becomes a dog.
well, now you say unfortunately.
This
is the perk, a dividend.
Sorry. Fortunately, becomes a dog
Okay.
and will be her companion for eternity.
Okay. So her.
Early
Dora's prime suitor, I guess, which is turned into a dog. A dog, and a lifetime companion. That's the fact that you said it's sort of like his lifetime companion. That's the perk. The dog being the companion. That's why it's a plus.
Got it.
Okay.
But they don't know that.
Who does?
The guys that are pursuing her, they don't know.
Right. Well,
They're going to be turning into a dog.
right. Well, or they might. I mean, that's for us to determine.
Oh, okay.
That's
Alright.
not, there is no,
Some
as I said,
weird
as long as you're sort of staying within the box, there is absolutely, you can even draw outside the box as long as most of it's inside the box.
Got
Okay?
All right. All right. Well, we should get some overall story stuff going on. Being from the middle class, bettering someone's future. Right. Well, okay. Bettering someone's future. I'm going to say that
This is the concern.
yeah, there's a concern. Is our cast of characters are all in this sword and sorcery medieval kind of world, but with some technology mixed in. All right, but they have not.
Oh, now it's steampunk.
Trapeze secret agent. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm not sure trapeze artists requires much
well, secret
technology.
agent usually has like
Okay.
no, but there's these people are kind of involved in a movement to improve the lot of the middle class by with a plan to overthrow the aristocratic elite.
All right.
I'm also looking at her concern of becoming a political leader. I mean, it's all kind of tying. I'm trying to tie some of these things together. But bettering someone's future, I think, as a group, they are forming. They are sort of conspiring and forming a movement to rob the rich, to better their own lot and those of their compatriots in the middle class.
Okay. So is this a redistribution of wealth issue, or is this I mean, how is it bettering the future? How are they establishing?
I would say they're trying to start a political revolution, or some kind of political movement to
get the future in there. Because remember,
right, to get to get their concern right to better their own lot, to better the lot of themselves and their contemporaries.
So what is their concern for the future?
Well, how do I word it? They are starting to move against the aristocracy to better their own economic futures.
Okay.
And yes, it's to redistribute the wealth to more equitably, yes.
I'll go with that. I think you're trying to solve too many story points in that same thing, and I was trying to focus you onto just the concern. Because, I mean, you're talking about the method, how they're going to do it, and all this stuff is supposed to be just what are they concerned with. But that's fine.
Overthrowing the aristocracy.
So the group conspires to
better
better the future of the middle class by overthrowing the aristocracy. That works.
Okay. So the overall story consequence? Being afraid of moths. So if they fail to achieve the goal, a large, a bunch of giant moths will be released into the world, and they happen to be in charge of the animal wrangler, Martin McLean, and they will be released into the world and will just cause.
Shouldn't it be more associated with the
antagonist?
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
Okay. So all right. So now remember, this is being afraid of moths, not
They'll
which is not
scare everyone because they'll be rolling around.
right.
Forever.
So this is what, subconscious? No,
No,
this
it's,
is
no,
OS.
it's a situation, so it's
Consequence of innermost desires.
Oh, so, okay, and what's
they'll
desires?
scare everyone because they'll be roaming around freely, and people won't be able to circulate in the street anymore. They'll be scared to death and stay locked up in their homes.
All right. So they'll be sort of terrorized by.
Yes.
Okay.
Just the ring of moth terror.
What is that?
Consequence under the overall story. So actually, the additional plot association, but
It's multi-platinum.
well, it's a good thing we picked the fantasy. Yeah.
Well, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, romance would have been.
This wouldn't have been necessarily in there, although you could easily do that. Seriously.
Oh, that's right. You did pick the fantasy just to say.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which will go at the mostly at the concern level, at the type level. Okay, so giant mobs will be released to terrorize the populace. That's right. It's sort of not the best way I would have sort of written it, but it's the terrorizing of the populace. They'll be terrorized by giant mobs. Or the threat of giant mobs, whatever it doesn't matter. The threat of mobs. All right. Yeah.
So the giant moths live in the Great Mountain, and
Are we?
Dora. I'm giving you that point.
No, give us a reference point. What story point are you looking at?
I'm going to do the story goal.
Oh,
I was
okay.
working my way into it. I was trying to do in the context of his story point.
No, that's fine. Just say story goal and then do that so that we know what structural context you're trying to do.
Story goal.
Thank you.
So giant moths live in the giant Great Mountain, and where Marvin McLean, the Great Moth Wrangler, is head of the mountain gnomes, and Dora. Her endeavors as protagonists are to instill in people a positive outlook towards mountain gnomes.
Okay.
It's not like I'm trying to drag a bit.
Yeah, the positive outlook, though, I know that sounds like a fixed attitude thing, but I guess for future, she wants a better future for mountain gnomes.
Okay. So she wants to create a positive outlook.
What was the future?
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to have people believe in the future, positive future.
All right. That denigrated group. Ever since the no-mobile, she hasn't been the same.
No, but see, she likes gnomes, but she doesn't like orcs, so it's a little conflict.
All right. Sean.
What if I just jump that series? How about if we just say that it's the gnomes that will be.
What story point?
Oh, I'm sorry. Overall story, cost,
Okay.
and it's those gnomes. They're going to be arrested and thrown in jail and whatnot. And so that would be the cost.
All right.
Yes.
It's a success.
No. Well, who knows? Maybe it's they're part of the terrorist organization.
Right.
Gnomes United or something.
It's really bad news.
But it's always it's a grayscale. I mean, it could cost to be really big, or they could barely be there at all. So, but the threat is there.
Signpost for main character. She believes that
Signpost, which one?
for a main character.
I know. Signpost 1, 2, 3, or 4.
One.
Okay, devising something. Yes.
She adopts a plan of how to get a collar around her neck and eating only dog food.
It all ties together. It ties
Wait,
together.
she devises a plan to put a collar around her neck and eat dog food. Okay.
It ties
See that one
in.
coming?
It's all, you see, it's all falling in the same general.
So this is Dora.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Little all. That's the scary part.
Wait, which one is it?
Oh, on the back page, the signposts are sort of like the events in each through line that sort of, like signpost 1 is the inciting incident, signpost 2 is like the actor, and the second actor.
Yeah, so essentially sort of like the acts. What's happening in each of the acts for each of the 4 through line. And if you look at the middle act as instead of 2A and 2B, just as Act 2 and 3, then it's essentially 4 pieces. All right, John.
Okay, going back to my friend Philip Litt. And illustrating the symptom, who is
Which through line?
Philip Ledford, the influence character.
Okay.
Um,
Remember, he exists in both the overall story and in the influence character and in the relationship. So just saying his name doesn't.
Okay.
Doesn't. Okay, so influence character, symptom.
Philip Ledford's symptom is he is supplying weapons to the ruling class, which is helping them keep the suppression of the lower class.
Okay, now here's a physics character. Okay, so he's an activity
Symptom of
character.
it, like it's just look at symptom of support. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So he sees that.
Just playing weapons to
Suppress the neurons.
But he sees that as a problem.
All right. So the idea of what a symptom is that you have a problem. You're generally not going to see. You're going to see the primary symptom as being the real problem, and then the treatment of that symptom is going to be what you think is the solution. So this is what he thinks is, or what people use this see as being the thing that's causing trouble. Or for the main character, it's going to be the thing that has that as a problematic influence on
Main character.
Huh?
Main character.
Hold on, not your turn yet. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's like Bob.
Okay.
You'll be next.
Okay, I'm going to go with overall story 4 warnings
Yes.
of having an idea. And it's going to be that whenever something goes wrong in the city, people think it's the gnome's fault. City problems equals gnome's fault.
Okay. So I put, whenever something goes wrong in the city, people have the idea that it's the gnome's fault. Okay? Or you have the idea, whatever. Bob, you had a,
Problem avoid
and which through line?
and the main character.
Main character? Okay.
And two
Actually, we actually did that one, I think. We've already got the problem trying to prevent marriage.
You
Sorry.
can do that. You can do that for the overall story. The overall story problem is avoided.
But that's it's not the marriage one. It's looking at the marriage one. Oh, again, that's the story problem. Did you want to try another one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So the main character, True Line Dora, every time.
And this, which story point?
The problem-solving style.
Oh, okay.
So every time she has the suitor that she's not interested in come approach her, she
You picked a real tough one.
Yeah.
did I?
Yeah. So let me explain what it is. The problem-solving style we also call mental sex.
Okay.
Basically, it's kind of the difference between what makes what makes a chick flick a chick flick.
Okay.
So the male mental sex is a linear thinker, looks to solving problems by cause and effect. A holistic thinker looks to seeing relationships between things and trying to sort of find balance.
Okay.
So that's her technique. So
So she's not like doing
well, how it's expressed could be anything. You as an author need to identify how that is looking to sort of seeing how things are tied together, as opposed to looking for cause and effect. It's one of the dynamics. So it's a general question as opposed to a specific. I mean, there will be specific instances of it. So what were you going to say? And let's see if we can.
Oh, I was going to say like all the suitors that she can hear, that she can't stand, she drives her crazy every time. Like she freaks out, she sits down like under a Bodhi tree with a garlic lei around her neck and meditates.
Actually, that could probably work. I think that would work really well.
It's definitely not cause and effect. It's definitely
Okay.
changing the relationship between her and the rest of the world.
Okay.
No.
It's perfect.
Okay. There's another aspect of that which we can get to, which is the main character approach as a beer. It's also very consistent with that, which is good. You were describing it specifically as a problem-solving approach, but that's great. So, how will she?
Runs the Bodhi tree.
Is that the truth? It's not, still in this side.
Does it have screen
That's another person.
Really?
Oh,
Crystals.
no, that's baloney. He's pulling it right on the last part. Okay, Sandy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
It is a real place.
overall story. No, it's not really that much. Okay, overall story, signpost one, being on hand for a particular group. This is overall story. And it's the present. Okay. So so the inciting incident. Okay, so it's about the gnomes. Okay, a particular group, is the gnomes. I'm just thinking out loud here. And our group of
That's the
orcs and dogs and
oh my.
yeah, etc. All gathered together, seeing the conditions of the seeing what's happening with the gnomes and how they're being oppressed. Decide to intervene. They make a decision. It's a decision. Maybe I'll go with decision instead.
You mean you're gonna go with the driver?
Well, okay, no, actually, no. I'll go signpost one of decision. Okay, it's a decision driver. So this group.
Okay, you're going driver, or you're going with the?
I'll go with the signpost.
Okay.
But the signpost is tied to the driver, to the decision driver. They make a decision
Okay.
to to help intervene in the gnomes' struggle against the oppression.
So they help intervene.
See what you said.
The gnome's decision to enter the kingdom with forces that undertake action.
Wait, help intervene in the gnomes what? Wait, Sandy, help intervene in the gnomes.
In the gnomes, intervene on behalf of the gnomes to counteract or fight off or just in their struggle against oppression.
All right. Great.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna try the condition, overall story condition, learning about someone. What did you say? It was like Marvin.
Mountain gnome.
So basically, he won't let anybody approach the gnomes, any gnome. He's basically super inclusive about people. So before he knows everything about these people, nobody's gonna until he trusts them, nobody's gonna get near him.
So they have to
pass like almost like an inquisition,
okay.
expansion inquisition test every single time. No, anybody who tries to approach the gnomes, Marvin doesn't want anybody near the gnomes if he doesn't trust them. He knows and he doesn't know everybody about them. So it's like super inquisitive. It's like absolutely not necessary, but just about speaking. Yeah. Marvin is now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marvin is now.
Go to the war.
All right, so I have it. The Mountain Gnome King, Marvin, must learn about visitors before they can enter the kingdom. Enter the mountain?
Yeah.
Well,
The kingdoms are all
under the mountain or under the kingdom?
Can you repeat the sentence?
The Mountain Gnome King, Marvin, must learn about visitors before they can enter the kingdom.
Or what did you ask?
Or enter the mountain.
No, kingdoms.
Okay.
the gnome kingdom.
Oh, stop it.
There's a clear division.
He likes beer gants, apparently.
I'm fine with mountain. Let's go with mountain. Let's just keep everybody happy. That's fine.
Okay, so this is a very paranoid world, and the problem, overall story problem, eluding someone.
Yes.
So everybody's paranoid fear, they're always trying to avoid running into each other. That's why there's giant walls built around the castle. They're not allowed to go out at night. They don't go into the mountains. Nobody's allowed to do anything because they've just been driven into their heads. Avoid strangers.
Okay, avoid stranger.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to make it an actual problem instead
Building
of just
walls
like,
to keep out the gnomes. Huh?
yeah. Good fantasy reflects modern day issues. And even on the other side too, the gnomes are trying to avoid running into people too. They have to go at certain times when it's unsafe for them to be out, and they get hurt. All kinds of stuff.
It's just all over the place.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the overall story through line issue,
Okay.
but I gotta ask for help because I really don't know how to illustrate putting something off until later.
Well, what might you put off till later? And that would cause trouble.
On this story?
Delay.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Definitely.
She's a clothing.
That's good because they're afraid of going outside. So don't do that. makes everybody sick. That's perfect.
Especially if it's on a collar. It's, you know,
It's really good.
it's really good.
Okay, go with it.
No, choose. I was
No. Well, that's the thing. I don't know how putting something off until later.
So what happens if you put off doing the laundry? What possibly could go wrong?
Everybody's gonna stink.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's one thing that could possibly go wrong. So let's just go with that.
You're all gonna get ringworm.
Because
So you work out.
they don't go outside.
No, I know.
Not
Wait,
the
stop.
ringworm.
Nobody
The one
wants to
through
go
ringworm.
buy new clothes. Nobody wants to buy. They want to wait until all of this problem with the gnomes and whatnot before they buy any new clothes.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, that nobody's going to buy any new clothes, so that's why everybody's going to stink because they can't do laundry for some reason. But we'll worry about that later. What's that got to do with versus choice?
So if you
Go inside. So no one will buy new clothes. You don't have to do that part. No one will buy new clothes, and it's a problem because what? What's troublesome about that?
Oh, because they don't want to.
Because it makes everybody stink. Is that what that?
That's the result. Yeah,
Okay.
that would
Is
be
that
the problem? But
Is
that's
that what's
not-
causing conflict? See, they put up buying clothes. That's fine. That's sort of the delay part. But how is it? You need to bake in the conflict, something negative because of that as part of it. Because in the essence of all of these story points is some element of the conflict.
Okay, so yeah, they're gonna the clothes are gonna start to stink. The clothes that they're wearing are not gonna be because they can't do laundry either. But I don't know why.
That doesn't matter. See, that's the thing is you don't have to worry about that part. You only just
Right.
deal with just one piece at a time, and it can be together.
Oh, doing the laundry.
That's what she's doing.
Right, but that's even worse.
Hold on. I want to try that. I want to try that with main character.
Okay. John?
All right. Relationship
All right.
analyst is pursuing the American dream. Every time they're together, when they're together, Philip spikes their drinks and sends them into a dream state where they have a white picket fence and a nice house, and they're attracted to this girl.
Oh, okay.
Until this spell or the potion wears off. They're back to work.
Workable.
See?
I have drug-induced dreams create an atmosphere where there are romantic relationships. It's they're in essentially so the fantasy of it.
As we feel it's easy closer together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just say brings them together into an imagined perfect world. That's so good. That imagined dream. Mike.
All right. Let me try to go with the main character solution if you want him to be sought after. And I think it's this, that she changes and adopts a solution by imbibing providing something that makes her attractive to gnomes. And so she does this to, I think, is that enough?
Well, yeah, I'm not, huh?
Yeah, you want it to be like an activity, right? Because she's changing. So she's like, she goes out into the open.
Sort of goes out and, well, I'm trying to get in that she's in love with, she has this ideal of she's in love with someone else. I'm thinking she has this idealized image of gnomes. And so she's, at the end, she's finally able to go, all right, gnomes, I'm going for it, thinking she's going to get a gnome. And she gets like 1,000 gnomes who then all want her.
Yeah, right.
And she can hear all their thoughts.
And she can hear all their thoughts. And it,
And
Sounds like
I have a little narrative in my head why that makes a success, but I say
You should have said it.
that's fine. Take it.
Okay. So she imbibes a potion which makes her attracted to all gnomes. Yes, and then we're tying it to the judgment bad.
Right.
It's like suddenly she's like, ah! Yeah. She must be what that said. But
Main character issue. The top, a top psychiatrist who is a professor at Harvard has written a book. The dogs are smarter and more loyal than humans, and someday we will have one in the White House.
okay. That is a great illustration.
I think that's
I'm
great.
not at all sure what that's an illustration for. The issue is supposed to be committing oneself to one's religion. So that's actually that's what they just were supposed to be illustrating.
Was it dogma? John, everybody. Thank you. He's here all week.
Very good. So, as much as I love that storytelling, I'm not sure it quite fit the story point gist.
Can I? What if?
Would you like to interpret it?
What if her religion is dog based?
Okay.
And this guy has written this manifesto saying dogs are smarter, and she takes that as a reason to go full-fledged into her dog-based religion.
All right. That's a great
problem?
good save.
How's that create
How does that create a problem?
Isn't that
Oh, that's actually a lot.
Everyone thinks she's a loon.
Okay.
Well,
This
Moon
is
being a
better
different
than-
animal, but
It's a very animal-based.
okay. All right.
Yeah. You know how? I don't know how. I could. Yeah. No one else. Very few people are members of this sect. She's considered. She loses status in the society. Thanks. No. You're totally right. This is the thing that I'll forget.
I get my
You gotta go for it.
but maybe
So you're saying the problem with it is what? Is it isolates her, or you said something else? You didn't say isolate. You said just.
I said it changes the status. It changes the status in society.
It
Lowers the
lowers.
status.
Yeah. All right, so I have Dora becomes dogmatic about her new to her dog-based religion, which lowers her societal status. Yes. Okay. Did you want?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna like top that or anyone go near that.
You don't need to top it. That's the
I
thing.
know,
Is
I know.
this
I'm not trying to top
they're
it.
starting to get.
Oh,
Well,
God. No, but,
I mean, if you want to pass, that's fine too. Either way.
What's signpost again?
A signpost is essentially what happens during that act. And so, which through line are you looking at?
Philip.
So the influence character.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I want the big piece.
He doesn't. He's part of the big picture. So
That'd have to be the overall story.
that'd be
through
the
line.
overall
So
story.
you could pick signpost 2, 3, or 4.
Hiding someone's past, or having something's condition grow progressively worse, or looking forward to having a family with a particular group. Wow, it's all sort of pulling together surprisingly well.
So signpost 2, hiding someone's past.
So you want someone to be.
I want Steve Ellingson to try to hide the fact that he got with the most popular gnome.
Oh, it's like you mean like the king?
Yeah.
Marvin.
You saying Marvin's gay?
Marvin is not gay.
He's the heat ledger in this relationship. Okay?
That was just
Marvin went to college. So,
They were experimenting.
Yeah, let's just say.
I got bored.
Potions 101 and slipped in the
not-
Mickey.
he didn't know how to quit him.
Yeah. Potion.
Yes, or maybe they were both going to, priest school and
Yeah, both Marvin. No, we could be like Steve could have wanted to become an animal wrangler, but he didn't. Yeah, he did. Can I
okay,
use
so
that? Can I do that? Can I
sure.
do that?
No, that's fine.
So,
So we have signpost 2 is that is it Steve is trying to hide it or Marvin's trying to hide it? It's a,
Steve, because Steve isn't gay to the rest of the world, he's just gay to God, I mean to himself.
oh, so he's closeted.
I love God.
And that's our
That's like something every year.
Is that our title now?
God? He wears a t-shirt under his habit, or the habit? Yeah, it was
No,
a
it'd be
habit.
his, what do you call it? The
Tolkien version.
His shawl. His priest shawl.
His robe.
His robes. Underneath it says gay for God.
Then he's got the chain now.
I mean, no, gay for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so good Marvin. All right. So what I put was Steve tries to hide his past relationship with Marvin. I mean, again, I only have a little bit of room, but
Okay.
we've described it, I think, somewhat fully. All right. And I mean, that's going to be like an illustration of that, a part of that act. So there's a lot of different things that happen. They're all going to be of the same nature, but they'll show up in lots of different ways.
All right. I feel like becoming a political leader, the main character concern. All right. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it. No, well, keep it personal. Somehow, but what's your question? Go ahead.
As somebody who's trying to get the gnomes in good status,
As protagonist, you mean?
as protagonist, could that be causing her personal problems because she's already becoming sort of a political leader over there?
Well, yeah. I was going to try to tie that in. Yeah, exactly. But I'm also trying to figure out a way to tie the telepathic thing in there too.
I think it's fairly simple.
Okay.
But I mean, just look at what we said. The problem she has with it is that she keeps on reading people's minds.
Right.
Now, as a political leader, being able to read people's minds, there may be some ethical issues there.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But what I'm thinking is that the reason it's concerned, the reason it's problematic for her is she's a reluctant.
Messiah.
Well, yeah, reluctant protagonist, but also just as a main character, that she's
Yeah, well, it is a start story, right?
right. She is being thrust into a position that she's very uncomfortable. In other words, a person of standing, she might be the next king of the mountain or the next king of the kingdom, or the next queen of the kingdom, because she has this ability, and others are sort of pushing her to step up to the plate. Yeah.
So what's wrong with that? What's
That
the problem with that?
it's a conflict for her. She doesn't want to she doesn't want to be the next queen because well, okay. She's just a clothing designer. She's a simple tailor.
Well, I would tie it to the mind reading part of it.
Well, that she would be okay. Yeah, if she's going to be holding court over the whole kingdom or over the whole mountain, she's going to be, confronted with all these voices, right? And when you're a political leader, you have to deal with all these different segments, and it's just going to.
Okay, yeah, that's the right direction. So she's afraid of getting into politics because of all Obama.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, but this is why I wanted to sort of draw you to it. I didn't want to just sort of hand it to you, but that doesn't happen. I'm not up here filling this out. I want you.
Right.
The point is that you guys do it. So Dora,
But talking it through.
right? Yeah. Okay, Dora fears becoming a political leader. Because she would be overwhelmed in all public
About
just
this
yeah.
But it's a classic fantasy, sci-fi trope that your protagonist is somehow destined to be the next emperor or king or whatever, and they're usually reluctant. So
Well, this one just happens to be that, right? Because it's a start story, right?
so she has to step up to the plate,
Right.
But that's another.
Stop story?
So a stop story is this character.
Stop?
There's a stop or start.
Oh, okay.
They are down
Under growth.
growth. So you can either grow into something or grow out of something. If you grow out of it, it means you've got a problem and like a chip on your shoulder, and you got to get past that before you can actually change.
Okay.
A start story is a story where you have a hole. You're not doing something. You need to step up to the plate.
Okay.
So you're holding back, and you need to grow into the your character arc is to grow up, essentially grow into it, as opposed to have to learn to step back. And so that whether or not you change or remain steadfast is independent of whether or not you how you get there. The part that usually people blend it all together and say this is the character, but you can have a problem and be waiting for something to stop or waiting for something to start as a steadfast character, main character, or as a change main character. A steadfast main character would be someone like Job or Dr. Richard Kemp in the future. The meaning is you stay the course no matter how things get worse and worse and worse. You build up your resolve, and then when it's almost at the breaking point, you still say, "I'm going to continue to persevere." And that's one type of main character story. Okay, she happens to be a change character who's also a start character. So that's what that was about.
So the main character samples 2, becoming a vampire.
Okay,
Well,
we
so-
got The garlic already.
Okay, we get
You
the
set us up
garlic
for the
already.
garlic.
Yeah, exactly. So, with signpost one, it was that she devised a plan to put a collar around her neck and be got to it. As part of her plan to steer suitors away, which is undesirable suitors, she thought that would get them out of the way because they think she's crazy or something. It didn't work out. So during Act 2, she is going to she's going to get in touch with Christina, who is a thief, who will get her a magic potion, steal a magic potion for her. And she thought that this potion was going to be a kind of Kristen Isolde potion, so that when she drinks it, it makes her repulsive to the rest of the world. Nobody can fall in love with her anymore. But it turns out that it's a magic potion that can turn her into a vampire. She's not going to be able to roam
She'll
lands during the
be able to
day.
go on dates at night.
Yeah, she can only exactly.
She's perfect.
Yeah.
She's the only one not avoiding.
Okay.
Yes.
And then becoming a
next
vampire
one-
didn't work, but so she
Becoming a man.
well that Shakespeare plays that. That's not, do you like it? How do you like it? Where the girl pretending to be a guy, pretending to be a girl.
No,
No.
12th night.
Twelfth Night?
Long.
12th night. Yeah. Oh, you will. Yeah.
It's
And so she turns her a vampire, but it doesn't. It's not really adequately keep them because she still has it nights open.
Yes. She still has her nights open.
All right. So what I have is Dora takes a potion that turns her into a vampire to keep suitors away, but she still has the nights free. And just telling you that.
The relationship story problem. So back to
Lacking
their
credibility in a particular group.
romance. So there's a lot of prejudice between humans and orcs, right? He's an orc. So this like deep-seated lack of trust or credibility in the other race makes it almost impossible for them to get together. It threatens to drive them apart.
maybe she doesn't know she is.
So have we decided that she's human? I guess we should have said she's human. Okay, which would allow her to turn into that.
So, lacking credibility. So, I said so. Between human,
Human trust the other person. There's obvious attraction towards each other.
problem is disbelief.
You don't trust themselves.
You don't. You do. Yeah. Well, it depends on the order.
Mark?
That's how I'm working. Looking at the overall story, signpost 3,
All right.
having some things conviction growth for the rest of the work. So I suppose this should be my reading.
This is for the overall story, not
Oh,
for her.
what's that?
The big picture. That's where the you have the oppression.
We never
of
did the domain. For
We say that's sort of the oppression of the gnomes going
the
on.
middle class gnomes.
And the first we have that our group of misfits are helping to intervene on behalf of the gnomes in their struggle against repression, and then it's followed by Steve trying to hide his past relationship with Marvin the gnome. You don't know if Steve is human or is he gnome?
Steve?
Yeah, Steve Ellington.
Yeah, please.
Okay, praise. He's what?
Or
Oh, he's an art. Okay. All right.
Game for gnomes.
Come on, get it
instead of
right.
fighting against repression.
So it's an interracial
Yeah.
gay relationship.
It's situation. Right?
So good.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, monkey species. So, I'm sorry. So you were going to illustrate having a something condition grow progressively worse. So, right. So you have to think of what thing's condition and what is what thing is it and what condition is growing progressively worse.
The overall story.
Yeah, for the big picture about the gnomes.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. This is for everyone in the story. Or parts, but groups that are within it, or individuals. Or you want to take a different topic? That's fine too.
Yeah, let me try it out. You know what? I'll just
Okay. John?
Okay. We'll go with the main character for his response of being unconvinced by something. She is not convinced by Steve to use her
Wait, this is about this relationship?
main character
Okay,
response.
so, okay. So she's, unconvinced by Steve.
Unconvinced by Steve to use her telepathic powers to find a mate. So then, by not doing so,
Well, you have to bring in the fact that this is what is supposed to solve the problem, the apparent problem.
Right.
No, this is the response. So the difference between this is not the solution. This is the solution to the problem. This is the response to the symptom, which we haven't defined yet. So is a problem trying to find a mate? I mean, is that the symptom? What is the symptom? Questioning someone's beliefs, and then being unconvinced by someone is the response. What I have is Dora's is unconvinced by Steve. Is unconvinced by Steve? That doesn't make sense. By Steve's efforts to, or suggestion to use her telepathic powers to find a mate.
This is what I keep taking. Marry.
Well, she's
Anyone.
right. She's trying not to marry, right?
She's trying not to marry well, but in this way she's not married. Or fine.
Well, she has. Didn't we say she lusts her after Steve? Ralph. Oh,
Has a crush on somebody.
No,
she has a crush on someone.
Philip has a crush on her.
Oh, yes.
She doesn't have a crush on anybody.
She
Okay.
idolizes.
Oh, the marriage
the
girl.
middle.
Huh?
Sophia.
Oh,
I said
that's
earlier
right.
that she
Yeah,
realizes the gnome.
Okay. Okay, well,
That's what a dog
fine.
religion tells her to do.
Because they worship the dog.
Yeah. Well, that's why you want to become a dog. Become a dog because it's actually an anagram of God, and it's a form of
Boys.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think in this way, it uses that just get a solution of being with someone loves, or not being with the wrong guy, but not with anybody.
Well, okay, so the fact that she's unconvinced by his efforts, how does that sort of treat the symptom?
Well, because if everybody's trying to convince her that she should choose somebody, she's like, well, I'm not convinced that I should go with this guy. It's just a way to get people off the back.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what you call it.
So then,
This is online, right?
Oh yeah.
so,
See you next week.
yeah.
Definitely.
So it's, I just put it in there so he stops trying to fix her up.
Okay.
So that adds the solution part, or the parent solution.
All right. I'm gonna go
Thanks
with
for joining us.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Usually we actually watch a film
Okay.
and then analyze the film, so we're all on the same page.
I want to know what happened in the story.
Okay.
I'll get to the all right, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with influence character issue.
Okay.
As the king's chef, he is very high on himself, which turns people off. And his counterpoint, though, is that he knows he's serving other people such delicious foods.
Hold on, I'm not up here. Hold on. Well, so as a king chef, Philip, what?
Is high on himself.
We have to finish the other half of that though. It's high on himself.
Which turns people off.
All right.
Versus his counterpoint.
Uh-huh.
Want to do that?
Sure.
Which is he knows though that he's serving great food to other people and feels wonderful servitude to them, which also turns people off because he seems or it seems obsequious.
Okay, so because he's presenting this as I'm doing this for you.
Right, and setting up the morality. He counters his own sort of narcissism by going, no, this is really for the good of the kingdom that I keep people happy. And
Right. So why? So the question is the value judgment is: does he not deserve to feel good about himself, or is that feeling good about himself out of balance with the actual good that he's doing?
In the way it's an influence character issue.
well,
Because for her, she's in a position where she can feel good about herself.
well, if she's going to be leading this thing, then she's like, well, do I get to be the leader of a movement if this guy doesn't even feel comfortable even leading it?
Right.
That's how.
Bob, did you want to?
Okay. Changing one nature and main character.
Okay, now you want to look at this. That's what the domain, or what changing one's character?
Nature, signpost 2.
Oh, sign. Okay, we already did that one.
Oh, we did signpost 2 and concern. Yeah. That's all you have. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I'm a lead person.
Okay. Second.
Okay. Well, all right. We have to do influence character domain of Alpine skiing.
All right.
We can't keep avoiding that because that would be a problem.
Oh no.
Oh, you gotta do that?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh. Sorry, that's the only one I have in mind. So.
Oh, wait, I can give you an easy one. Well, maybe not. Go ahead.
Well, no, I want to hear it, but my idea for that is, okay, I'm just going to replace alpine with no mountain, okay? And he's running weapons, to on behalf of the elite to suppress the middle class. So he's doing that by skiing up and down, and he keeps encountering. It's impactful because he keeps passing by Dora and her band of misfits who are trying to help the gnomes, and he's out there. Of course, they don't know what he's doing, but he keeps passing by, and getting under her skin.
On compliment that.
Okay.
It's a document, right?
Okay. Well,
Easy.
yeah, but the point is as he's skiing down, they're going up, he's skiing down, and it's like, what are you doing here? I don't know, but somehow I'm attracted to you, kind of thing.
No, but what I was going to say too is that he could very much also be using those trips to dump the bodies that he kidnaps. Because
Oh, wait a minute. What? Okay. Same thing. See, it's all it's that whole activity of skiing up and down this mountain. All right.
really easy to steal.
Yeah, he's running weapons. He's running arms. He's dumping bodies.
And he's a chef.
Oh,
Goes
no.
there to grab some of these ingredients in the mountain.
It all works together.
Or he makes them into his. That's why his food is so delicious.
So at the same time, he's trading weapons, he's dumping bodies, and he's
You mean when he's serving the people? He's serving
serving
the people.
Tastes like South American soccer player. Yummy. What were you gonna say, Chris?
Well, no. You already said your piece. So
No,
but now, see that
there's a great addition. Do
he stole my thunder, so I have no idea what to do now.
you want to skip or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll skip.
Okay. Well, when you come up with, let me know because I'll get you back in.
okay. Don't do winning a contest. Selling something. He's also selling something. Signpost too.
Yeah, we've already started to fill in some of these blanks that I didn't name it.
Signpost.
Okay, all right.
That's
There,
good.
zip it. Write them down and hold them on. Yes, Jim.
This may seem really simple, but the relationship through line solution,
Uh-huh.
believing in something's religion. I just want them to come together. I'm confused because there's a lot of different religions going on, but would he believe in her dogmatic religion? Isn't she?
Well,
her
we
religion
don't know at this moment whether or not it's a successful relationship.
That's what I want. I want it to be a successful. They come together.
Oh, they do?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's I don't know, she's got this dogmatic dog religion.
So yeah. So then he believes it.
Doesn't he become a dog?
It converts. He converts to a dog.
No.
Yeah.
But again, let's try to understand. In this world, dogs are dogs.
I mean, now,
They're dog dogs.
who converts to a dog?
Oh,
So Frank Suter. So that would be Philip, right? Yeah. So,
well, it says Dora's prime suitor. Did we decide that Philip is the prime suitor?
No, Ralph.
Ralph.
yeah. So
It could be that Ralph becomes a dog, and Philip comes to believe
I like that.
religion, and they come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's two people who don't trust each other. One gets to the other.
Which one are you doing? Relationship solution?
Yeah.
But believe in someone's religion.
so Philip comes to believe in Dora's dog religion.
Faith.
All right. Boy, in order for this to work, you have to really define what this dog religion is. Not tonight.
But when we actually sit down to write this script, and we will.
Yeah, just like every year.
They is the
The they is sort of our group of misfits helping the gnomes. The gnome middle class.
so the they
Well, the gnomes are the middle class.
overall story symptom
Giving compliments to something.
compliments to something.
So this would be what people think is the problem.
They think the problem is being guilty to the ruling class which gives the ruling class power over them. And furthers their suppression.
Which gives the ruling class power over them. So we're a bunch of protests. Let's start.
The first thing she picks is about herself and stuff. Hardest thing she does.
And she nails it. Right thing, right first thing. It's perfect. But
No, I know.
I would have been really surprised if she didn't.
Oh, funny.
Well, because it's sort of like the most natural of all of this is structural. The one thing that really isn't is the one thing she picked up on, which is the thing that is most suited toward understanding. And we're the least suited toward understanding.
Which one are we talking about?
Mental sex.
Just how she picked.
How she picked the mental sex. Okay, great. Very good.
All right, so I'm going to go with the OS catalyst.
Oh, that was yours, John, right?
Overall story catalyst of choosing a career, picking a career as something. And I'm going to say that members of the middle class have their careers chosen for them.
Oh, God, that's weird. It's a caste system? Oh. Oh. I love it.
That's good.
They don't like that. I'm assuming that's the conflict.
Yeah, they don't like that.
But it does move things forward because it's sort of like it could really slow it all down. It's like, no, okay,
No.
you do this, you do this, do this. Suddenly, okay, it ratchets it up.
Their anger gets fomented.
Perfect.
The plot appreciation of the requirement. Going on with a particular group's everyday life. Going on. Okay.
Well, what is the story point?
Oh, is it the present? All right. So that's a requirement to get to the goal, which is the goal is to
Continuing on.
The future for the gnomes.
the goal is about the future of the gnomes, but who are being oppressed by the aristocrats, the elite.
Right.
So
we don't even know if they're gnomes or orcs or humans or what.
right, we don't know that, but we do know that Dora is our protagonist, and as protagonist, she has to reluctantly use her abilities to assimilate herself to some of the elite circles. She's trying to in order for her to sort of gain some political power, okay, which ties into her own. She's in order to help the gnomes against their oppressors, she has to learn about the oppressors. So she's trying to assimilate herself into those circles by attending their functions or finding a way into, council meetings and things like that. So Dora assimilates herself into the elite circles.
That's fine. You don't need to even go any more than that.
Okay.
Because that definitely fits the requirement for the help. Well, we need someone on the inside. Well, you're the one who can play the role. With your skill, you can just fit right in because you know what people are really thinking, what they should and shouldn't say, and all that. So you can best the part. That's right.
She's a beer.
And she makes clothes.
She makes clothes. She can read minds. And she can eat.
Okay.
But she needs to.
So, main character signpost 3, pretending to be a man. So
It's like she's doing everything she can.
yes, exactly. So in her series of attempts to try to veer with suitors, she uses her designer's eye for fashion and goes to her sidekick friend, who happens to be a gay priest with great sense of fashion, to design herself.
Right, she's the designer.
She's a designer, and on top of it, she has a gay priest friend who also has great taste in fashion.
Yeah.
So those two elements combined, she creates a great man outfit for her to wear. And
Every female hero needs a gay sidekick, right?
Is English your first language?
I mean, almost every romantic comedy,
Maybe a suit.
the female hero has a gay sidekick, right?
Jeans and a shirt. No wonder they want you to speak French all day.
Which, of course, Chris.
So she creates a male outfit to wear to further discourage suitors.
Yes. The fake beard or whatever.
That's the whole thing. Fake beard. She takes a note.
A big old beer.
She's using no beard.
My turn.
Your turn.
I'll do. Did we do story outcome yet? Success.
No.
Oh, cool. Well, save me if I answer. Yeah, I will just say they find a way to assimilate gnomes into the kingdom, and they become an integral part of the decision making.
But meanwhile, Dora's going crazy. And all the stuff like that.
Well, she's king now.
All right. Let's see. So we have. Well, I can read this later. The gnomes are fully integrated into all aspects of the kingdom and get to be part of the decision-making process. Happy days. John.
Okay, relationship issue. Being hopeless. Challenges with dream. They feel that any future together is hopeless due to their differing species, belief system, and all the potential suitors that she
Okay, so a long-term relationship seems hopeless. I mean,